You need to step up. Every man needs to step up, and every woman has to be bold enough to tell men around them who are not stepping up to step up. My name is Kerry Kagiri. I am a media practitioner, also a performing artist, and just an all-round happy person. It means that many people, especially our brothers, our fathers, our employers, colleagues, will get to know what it means to love on women in a way that doesn't make us feel vulnerable, doesn't make us feel hurt, doesn't infringe on our rights to express ourselves. I think it's about time this conversation is had. I have to say that I am one in, I think, 100 women who has been in almost safe environments, because mostly I've worked with people who genuinely have moral ethics, not because they are safe, but because they choose, or call themselves Christians, but because they choose to actually appreciate you based on your skill and not what you can give them. But I've been in spaces where I'm hosting events, or I'm acting, or I'm playing certain roles that people kind of want to play around with you over and above. Let me bring this out. As a performer, I tend to be super friendly to people, and guys read that as I am available. It's not that. When I was still in high school, that's the first time I got an opportunity to host a radio show, and I was working with 4 men. And I have to credit these men because none of them ever made me feel unsafe until I was exposed in another environment which was full of secularism. And there, guys want to touch you inappropriately or ask you to be in spaces that you're kind of uncomfortable in. But I would say I'm very, very fortunate to have been, and I have to say this because I talk to many women. I'm in a space of, a lot of socialization and all that, where they had to put out to get in. Yeah. First of all, I have to say that your dressing should not lead anyone to harass you, catcall you, touch you, say certain things to you. That is not an excuse. It is on the other side. It's not on me. I feel and I know that I can put on what I need to put on, and it's really none of your business. And it's not for you. It's for myself. And so every time I hear someone has been harassed because of what they were wearing, it's what she was wearing, or you come out to someone like, oh, he did this to me, or he said this to me, and they ask you, what were you wearing? That has to stop. And that's why this conversation is there. The main cause of gender-based violence is mothers who did not raise men well. They weren't raised to respect women around them, to care for them, and not see them as take. They've been there to take. They're not there to actually love on you, to care about you, because then they would do that in a context of, in my case, I'd say marriage, and not just randomly. I'll say this personal example. When I was 13, my parents entrusted me to someone who was supposed to be my friend and then a family friend, but they were a bit inappropriate, even in my little school uniform. And talk about relationships, especially in relationships where there's a lot of battering, there's a lot of physical and verbal abuse to women. The cause is just a polluted society, a society that doesn't have ethics on human respect, because it's very disrespectful for a man to slap you anywhere for any reason, to touch you without your consent anywhere for any reason, even if you are in a marriage relationship. Yeah. So the major cause, I would say, would just be the state of morality and the ethics within a person that lead them to think that they can solve or fulfill something within themselves by harassing, abusing somebody else of the opposite sex. And so, unfortunately, this does give a couple of people pleasure when they hurt other people. And so, the cause is just the morality of the society. The cause is the people that raised these people who think they can live life and by continuing to hurt people physically, emotionally, even spiritually. Yeah. So the cause is just the core of the person. It's wrong. And that takes a lot of work and a lot of correction to change, but it's possible. Men need to talk about it more. They need to talk within themselves. If you hear your homie is beating up his woman, because then girl to girl, you have the conversation. This conversation will get to your home and you never say anything to your friend. You see your friend treating women inappropriately, spanking, talking, and saying things out loud that are inappropriate. I think men should call out men, and I think men should be very conscious in how it is they handle women. Find out what makes the women around you cringe and feel uncomfortable. I mean, you need to step up. Every man needs to step up, and every woman has to be bold enough to tell men around them who are not stepping up to step up. There are rules, and women should be able to find safe spaces. In my organization, I would say there are so many safe spaces. In fact, women are mentored by women, men are mentored by men, as should be. And so you're able to bring out that conversation very easily. Other spaces need to be created that are actually safe. That's a big deal. And I don't know what organizations people are in or communities you're in, but this needs to be something that even is a requirement for you to be able to set up a company. How are you going to handle gender-based violence? How are you going to handle even someone who comes to the office with scars from their home relationships? How can you partner with them to get them out or keep them safe? Male privilege is a huge thing, and they try to counter it with the fact of pretty privilege. There is male privilege. Men don't have to think about what do I wear, what time should I leave the house, is it too late, is it too dark, is it too bright, am I looking too fabulous? You never have such things. Gender-based violence means, and gender-based violence from physical to emotional is there, and probably you have done it. But I think men need to just go into spaces where you get more educated on what this means. Ask the women around you, does this make you uncomfortable? I did this, what does this mean? Just be more inquisitive, be more caring, be more protective of the women around you. And how you handle men is not the same way you handle women. Just how do you talk to the women around you? How do you engage with them? From the words you use, from the even silent treatment or any kind of harassment that you use, it's actually, in a sense, it's brutal. It's brutal. So how you treat the women around you is very, very important. I think men are clueless. I think some of them genuinely just do not know that they are crossing certain boundaries, and they need to get educated by the people who raise them, who are their mothers, their aunties, all the women around them. My call to action is, let's not make this a space of shame. Let's make this a conversation and a place we can talk about it. Let's create more safe spaces for people who are abused, who have gone through gender-based violence, to run to and know that they are safe. Let's have call lines that guys can call in. I know there are a couple that have already been set up, and I thank you for that. But it's something that needs to be circulated widely. The role of men in ending gender-based violence is for men to speak out. It's for men to speak up. It's for men to understand what it means to be a part of this heinous act. It's a role that needs, number one, education of men. It needs mentorship. It means men actually being able to call out each other when they hear that their fellow gentlemen, the people that actually do these things like beating up women. And it's not only when you say gender-based violence, I keep thinking it's not only sexual. It's just sometimes even your own frustration that you bring at home from work and decide that you're going to unleash it on your family, whether you're a man or a woman. So being able to call out these things between men in conversations where men are, the language that men understand, only men can share and talk about it. Men genuinely being interested in protecting the women around them. And so that would be my suggestion on how men can come through in this particular situation. Yeah.